Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by Jennifer C. at HomeLifeCultureLink.com, Nino Simeka at MortgageGodfather.ca, and Jewelry Forever at JewelryForever.ca. Enjoy the show.
Broadcasting live from Glenmore Record Studios in Toronto, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, your Sunday morning talk show with interesting guests, live musical performances, and the most fun you can fit in your coffee cup. Hosted by Scott Dion Brown and Regine Alaina, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
It's Christmas time. There's no need to be afraid. At Christmas time, we let in light and we banish shade. And in our world of plenty, we can spread a smile of joy. Throw your arms around the world. Christmas time, but say a prayer, pray for the other one. At Christmas time, it's on, but when you're having fun, there's a world outside your window, and it's a world of dread and fear, where the only water flowing is the bitter sting of tears, and the Christmas bells that ring there are the clanging chimes of June. Well, tonight, thank God it's them instead of you. Well, there won't be snow in Africa this Christmas time. The greatest gift they'll get this year is life. Nothing ever grows, nor rain or rivers flow. Do they know it's Christmas time at Here's to you, raise a glass for everyone. Here's to them underneath that burning sun. Do they know it's Christmas time at like a waving flag.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, yes, deck those halls, roast those chestnuts, and gather your closest friends, I guess digitally this year. Grab your sleigh bells and put them on your horse-drawn sleigh and travel across snow-capped hills and brushes. Welcome, everyone, to a glorious Christmas special here on The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, and I am joined, as always, by the greatest co-host in the entire galaxy, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only
Regine Alaina. Happy Sunday, everyone. Merry almost Christmas. And Scott, I know I roast you a lot. I know I did it before the show, but that was a pretty good intro.
Oh, well, thank you, Regine. You know what? It's okay. I get getting roasted just like the chestnuts on an open fire.
Is it going behind me?
Yes, I see you. I see you got a roaring fire going to start things off, Regina. It must be toasty warm in there.
Very.
Very nice. Actually, did you see on Disney Plus they have they have a roasted like a Yule log fire type thing, except it's the castle one from Frozen.
No, I should have had that in the background instead.
Yeah, it's not bad. I looked at it yesterday. Although I will say yours is much more zoomed in, so you can see a lot more of the fire. Theirs is more zoomed out, so you see, I guess, more of their like fireplace and stuff. But I think yours.
This is courtesy of Belle.
Oh.
So, if I had it off,
roaring
you'd
fire.
actually hear it crackling.
Lovely. Sounds delightful.
I mean, I was gonna say I do like your sweater. It looks very familiar.
I may have worn it a few times. It is my go-to Christmas sweater.
I mean, same here. Don't worry. This is my third year wearing this in a row, so it's fine.
We're both very festive, and you know what? Hey, you know what? It's about tradition.
Exactly.
Okay? Christmas is about traditions. Okay, I wear the same sweater. This is my Christmas sweater for the next 40 years.
Okay, this will be my Christmas dress as long as I can fit in it.
Perfect.
There you go.
Perfect. Yeah, that'd be weird, actually.
40
Imagine
years.
being just imagine being like an 80-year-old grandpa and being like,
welcome to the sit down.
Well, no, I was thinking more just like the kids being like, Grandpa, who are those people on your sweater? And I was like, these are Mario and Luigi, back when I was a boy.
Scott, when you're, I'm not going to say how many years from now that is, you think your voice is going to get deeper?
That's a good point. Everybody does an impression of like an old person. Oh, hello. But is that, do you just start talking like that? Or, I feel like my voice would just be my voice, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Does that mean our guest voice is going to get deeper than it already is?
We're going to find out. In fact, we should bring them in here, Regine. We should bring them in here.
Yes.
And get them into this, because we're already, we're already talking about big subjects here.
Mm-hmm.
And we need their input.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our guests today. Well, this is a kind of a special thing. So obviously, it's our Christmas special, which is why it's a special thing. But it's also kind of a podcast over. And the reason it is because I was on our guests' podcast earlier this week for their Christmas special. And I thought, hey, wait a minute. Maybe we could make something extra special here.
Yes.
And make it so... I didn't really plan what to say, but I will say this. Our guests today are the hosts of a very wonderful podcast called Talking with Our Mouths Full. And I just let's just bring them on. And one of them viewers, you will recognize him because he's been on here before. But we've never had his co-host on, so this is her first time here. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm sit-down welcome to Michael and Knight.
Hey!
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us here, and thank you for having me back.
Well, welcome to our
Yes.
Christmas special. As Scott said, it is a podcast crossover. And throughout the week, we've been trying to figure out, are we going to call it Sitting with Our Mouths Full? What are we going to name the show? And,
Talking while we sit down.
right? So it was a lot of what are we going to name this show? One thing that I came up with was, what was it? Talking... I forgot what it is. Let me check Instagram in a few minutes. But it was, it's all there. So for our viewers that are watching, so our podcast is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. Theirs is Talking with Our Mouths Full. Can you come up with a creative title in the comment section?
Talking with our mouths
Yes,
fat.
please do.
There you go. That makes
What?
0 sense. Exactly.
I love it. I love it. So let's just what I was just talking about. What happens when? So I guess your voice does change when you get older, but like,
does.
are we gonna have those
Deeper,
You know.
Like, I'm an old man. I'm
Yeah.
very, very old.
See, his voice doesn't get deeper;
exactly.
it just disappears.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are we going to? Is that how we're gonna
Well,
sound?
I do know that. So, for Chinese women, I know that for some reason they get a little bit more nasal and tighter. Like I've listened to my mother's voice start becoming like my grandmother on her side's voice.
Careful,
so-
she might hear you.
Yes, she might. I mean, they've always had similar voices, and like when my grandma, when I was young, yeah, her voice changed too, and then now my mom's going there, you know. So I'm just like, wow, okay, I guess this is. And then there are certain coworkers who I will not name who are also going in that direction. They're Chinese as well. So I'm just like, is this like a universal Chinese woman's voice change thing where it just gets all like the if anybody is from southern China, you know, that Toisan woman, the grandma's voice that everybody knows, it just seems to all go in that direction. But I don't know about the men.
I think you're right about when it comes to sounding like our moms. Like, I know my mom starts to laugh like my grandma, and it throws us off. We'll be like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" So maybe we just end up sounding like our parents.
Maybe. I mean, I know my bass voice is a higher version of my father's, but I'm
A
wondering.
higher version of your
Yeah,
father?
my voice is actually higher pitched than my dad's, but it'll be interesting if it gets lower, deeper.
Oh wow.
My dad's voice is pretty deep.
Hey, here's a question. Do you notice how Mark Hamill's voice? He still sounds the same to me. Does Mark Hamill's voice sound different to you?
He sounds more raspy, unless he's like forcing himself not to be.
I don't know
Yeah,
who
I guess
that
he.
is.
He's the guy who played Luke Skywalker.
I'm in
Star
shock.
Wars.
You
I
have
guess-
no idea. Oh my god, Scott, why is she your co-host? Come on, man, do better.
You know
Yeah,
what?
it's
You know what? We
yeah.
had a full episode on Star Wars last Christmas, and I legit just sat there and knew nothing about what was going on. So
Oh, Vader, no.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's right. Regine is well, at least at this point now, you've seen one Star Wars movie, right?
yeah,
You've seen A New Hope, and you've seen a bit of The Mandalorian, like a
I
little
saw
bit.
I saw the entire first season.
Okay.
So you like
Yeah.
the child? You like?
I only watch it because of Baby Yoda. To be completely honest, Scott's child, yes.
Is that the animatronic one or not? I have the animatronic.
No, he's just
Nightingale, do
he
you
just looks
watch
nice.
Star Wars? Oh, I was like, am I the only one?
So sorry, I was holding up in front of the camera. I didn't see Night. What you said? You don't watch Star Wars? You're not a Star Wars person?
And back to the voice, I think that the voice is just an instrument that we have to keep like practicing utilizing, especially for singers who've had a long career with their voice. So it's just all about practicing, taking care of that instrument. But overall, I think we're all going to age very gracefully.
Our voices are going to age gracefully.
But so then, where did this impression come from? Like the one
Santa Claus.
I guess. But does that mean that Santa Claus always sound like that?
I don't know.
Like, was Santa Claus' voice when he was like 30 the same as Santa Claus' voice as 300 as he is now?
Well, I mean, Santa Claus comes from St. Nicholas, and St. Nicholas is Greek. Maybe he actually sounds more Greek than we think he does.
I don't even know how to imagine what a Greek 30-year-old.
Oppa!
Yes.
Instead of, that's how Santa brings all of the gifts, actually, you guys. If you didn't know, he's
Breaks dishes.
Oppa, yeah. There you go.
So he
I
eats
did
the
not- I did-
cookie and then smashes the
Smash
dish.
it.
There we go.
It's coming together.
See, guys. Okay, we're solving mysteries here slowly. I'm gonna put Grogu back down.
It's Baby Yoda.
Well, that's true. I've been switching between. I've actually been getting used to the name Grogu.
I like it.
Yeah, it's grown on me. You know what it is? Is that I think it's kind of fitting. It is it's the type of name that you would have seen in like a movie from the 80s, where it's like it's not a cute name, it's not a nice name, it's just a it's just that type of character name. I don't know, it just fits the tone for me of the show. It's grown on me. You and you like it as well, Michael?
I do. I like it very much.
I'm surprised none of you have a Star Wars Christmas sweater going on with your passion for Star Wars.
Well, I mean...
Oh.
I was saving this deal. Yes, I'm off screen right now, but I have the... Come on, Boba Fett Christmas lights.
Oh, damn.
Whoa.
He's fancy.
Yeah, there we go.
And noisy.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Now they're on a... Wow. Why? Oh, I didn't plug it in properly. There you go.
Oh, they light up.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. There you go, Regine. Is that
Star Wars enough?
Christmas
Yes.
enough for you?
There's a Baby Yoda
pretty
sweater. It's an ugly Christmas sweater, and then there's like a little pouch, and Baby Yoda just sits in it.
Oh, I want it.
I'll send you the
You
link.
know,
Thank you.
well, you know what makes it harder now? Not all the stores are kind of closed. Like even this one, I found it when I was just walking through the mall. I was walking through Winners, and you see this, but now you kind of that experience is sort of absent. So I don't I don't have anywhere to see it. I guess I would have had to be online searching for it, but
It's on Instagram.
yeah, but you don't have that same experience of just like you're walking through and you weren't necessarily looking for that thing, but it's there on the rack or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, I
know
guess
what you
there's
mean.
ads.
I mean, I don't
But yeah,
know.
it's
I
not
mean,
quite the same.
Yes, you have to be searching for it, but at least on Amazon, like if you look up ugly Christmas sweater, there's a lot of nerd stuff now. Like a lot. There was a Game of Thrones one that I was kind of interested in, but then I'm like, all right, the final season. Never mind, I'm not buying this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah. I mean, that's
take
true.
this off
I mean,
because it's loud. Sorry.
is it making noise? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Like
When it
the
moves.
banging to
Yeah,
the clanging
whenever I
together.
move. There we go.
Then don't move.
I have to eat.
Just
Don't
sit still the whole
move.
time.
Just sit down.
Okay, well, this was
Exactly. It's a
this
sit
was
down. Just sit down.
Sit down.
Sit,
Yeah, the title is actually in order
Mhm.
for don't move. No.
sit down.
But yeah, sit down, Scott. Exactly. But anyway, we should because Michael, we've had you on a few times.
Yes.
Knight, we've never had you on, but we've certainly never had you guys on together as you are hosts of Talking with Our Mouths Full. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit and tell the audience a little bit about what is Talking with Our Mouths Full?
Start, Michael. I'll jump in.
You want me to do it? All right. All right.
Sit down and talk.
sit down, Mike.
How dare you talk to me that way, Knight?
Now.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so Talking with Our Mouths Full is a community podcast that seeks to showcase the beauty and the diversity of Toronto and the GTA through its food and its people. Every other Tuesday, we introduce a local eatery, preferably independently owned, like a mom and pop shop, as well as bring on a guest to talk about their life, their culture, food, and whatever else they want to talk about.
Yeah, originally it was just a podcast between Michael and I where we were talking about our interests and everything, and Michael suggested we talk at the Black Canary, but then I suggested local restaurants to promote, local businesses in the GTA, and then I introduced Michael to a community space called T-Base, and that's when the interviews format started to emerge.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
I took him to a lot of community run food places too.
Because yeah, Nightingale is really active in the community, and she has all these initiatives she belongs to. She even has her own nonprofit. So, when she brought up the idea of changing course for our pod, it just made a lot of sense. Since there's 1,000,001 pop culture podcasts out there, and originally, like Knight said, we were just looking to have a bit of fun. and to just have a place for us to talk. But yeah, like her ideas they just really resonated on my end, so it made total sense. Yeah.
So how long has your
Cool, yep.
podcast been going on for? Sorry, Scott.
That's right.
We're on year 2, season 2, everybody.
Yeah, so year and a half ish
Nice.
is how long we've been around.
Congratulations. That's a long time.
Nice. Yeah, I was just gonna ask that. Although you kind of answered it, but I was just gonna ask. So where did the idea of making it sort of food focused come from?
It came from the fact that Michael wanted to sit down and I said like we should eat somewhere and record in the place, and Michael's like, I like food, and
Well, there
then
you
we kept bouncing out the name, and then I just randomly just said talking with our mouths full, because that's literally what we will be doing. We'll be talking with our mouths full.
Because yeah, like originally, Night is right. We were just going to always record out of the Black Canary Cafe and Silver Snail Comics at Yonge and Dundas, and because like prior to Night and I like getting together to do a podcast, I had always wanted to do a podcast after I found out about podcasts. So I started poking around, seeing which one of my friends were maybe interested in doing a podcast as well. I never felt like a solo podcast was something I wanted to do. I really wanted to have a co-host or co-hosts more than one. So I just like that vibe, of having someone to chat with. But yeah, Nightingale and I, we got together at the Black Canary. We started spitballing ideas, and it was like amazing. Like we had so many different ideas. But yeah, like the food aspect was pretty solid, because we would have always been, recording with the room tone, with the ambiance of the Black Canary Cafe. We would always have told our audience what we were drinking, what we were eating from there. So yeah, it was always going to have a food element. It's just that Nightingale's amazing idea of going to different eateries, just
Local.
Yeah,
owned
was so much.
pop shops.
Yeah, was so much better. It was just like, wait, no, yes, let's go eat everywhere.
Yeah, that
Awesome. Yeah, it is
aspect came from the fact that like when you come to Toronto, it's like what is so special about Toronto? Because when you go to New York, you have like all the different landmarks. We've got the CN Tower. We have a thing that used to be called Sky Dome. Then it's called Rogers Center. Then it's just going to be changed to something else. So what else that makes Toronto so special other than poutine, which people from Quebec are going to argue, no, that's our food. So what's so special about Toronto?
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great concept, and it's in fact, why in the beginning? So you said you were originally always going to record it in either the Black Canary, but even that, like, why was the reasoning for that?
It was we're both nerds, and that was a very nerdy, atmospheric location. I mean, it's beautiful.
I see.
Absolutely stunning. It has great food. The coffee is wonderful. They're always themed to comic booky things. And yeah, we were gonna talk pop culture, and they weren't gonna kick us out. So
Not yet.
Yes, not yet. Now that they know. But yeah, like, and that is actually where we recorded our first episode. So it's not like we haven't been there. But yeah, like, that's why.
Gotcha. And then the light bulb went off to, wait a minute, we could spotlight different locally owned businesses, and the podcast was born.
Yeah, it's just
cool
like
idea.
Today, for example, I have some food from Silver Bay Cafe in Richmond Hill at 9665 Bayview Avenue, Unit 15. They're a Hong Kong style diner. We've had quite a few on our show. Today, I actually got the cheese-baked pork chop in tomato sauce with rice.
That looks delish.
Yes, it looks amazing. I am so hungry right now. And I got it with the honey lemon tea.
Yum.
Lovely.
Yeah.
He will be
So that's
eating on the show.
He will be talking with his mouth full.
I will be
When he
talking
should have
about
been sitting
my
down.
But yes, so that's kind of what we do. We introduce places for people to eat, and yeah.
So this is a sit and
lovely.
eat show. Got it.
Yes, it's a podcast, crosscast, everybody. And wait, let me quickly say hi to people in the chat just to get you. Hi, Aqua Goated is here. Good morning. Merry Christmas. Hello, hello. Jaden Stubbs, welcome to the show. Told you I'd be here. Yes, you did. And here you are. Merry early Christmas to you, Jaden. Merry Christmas. Samantha Arellano is here. It hurt to wake up early, but it's worth it. I'm glad you're here, Samantha. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, and then she said our voices sounded weird, but that's because, yeah, I left something on. So it's fixed now, but thank you for pointing it out because I was able to fix it. Live show,
What
everybody.
did you have
live
on?
Show.
Yeah, what
no.
would it sound like?
When I have, so whenever I play like another piece of audio, so earlier we played the video, I have to turn up a volume thing, but then when the voices are talking, it kind of doubles, so you guys just sound a little bit like machines.
Nice.
So anyways, got it fixed because it might be annoying for the whole show. Israel Scott, good morning. Hello, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. And my parents are both there. Good morning, Merry Christmas. I'll have a fun show. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
I miss our
Thank you
Christmas
guys for
special
tuning
at the
in.
old studio. It was so decorated.
Yeah. Here I put, well, Regine, your background looks pretty good. I mean, I threw some lights up here.
It's funny
Put up
because
some lights.
I got a Christmas card from my cousin's family, and I realized they were on display. So I'm like, let's just take them down. I don't think they want to be so exposed.
Little too.
But I brought
little too
something
personal, yeah.
from the old studio that I got last Christmas, and it's Olaf.
Hey, it's
So
Olaf,
Olaf
there he
has
is.
been sitting here keeping me company in remembrance of the studio.
We'll be back there soon.
2021.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say thank you to you guys for, of course, having me on your podcast earlier this week.
I
It was a
listened
really
to
fun
it.
time.
I listened to the entire thing. And I was arguing with you, even though you couldn't hear me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I was talking about the Filipino desserts.
Yeah, and you were just talking, and I think because I'm so used to chiming in when you would say something, and I'm like, I can't chime in, this sucks.
It would have been good to have you there just to like, when I was sitting there going, I can't remember what that's called.
And
I
I
can't remember what
kept
this
saying
thing is
it.
called.
I literally was saying,
Yeah.
and when you were talking about adobo and trying to explain it, I was like, deep breaths, Regine, you can't correct him now.
I was like,
See, that was the charm
what
of
did I
that
even
episode. Just listen to Scott struggle through that.
yeah.
I was trying to be helpful.
Yeah, because
Yes,
you're
you
saying
were.
that you know a lot of Filipino foods, and I think you're more Filipino than Scott is.
Like when he brought up pancit,
mean-
I was like, yeah, it's those noodles. Or like the dessert, I was like, oh yeah, it's that mochi kind of
Yeah.
like texture.
That's true. Yeah, it's you knew exactly what I was talking about right away. Well, because you know what it is. It's like so much of the food that I ate growing up. Like I just ate it. You know what I mean? Like the food's there, and it was normal. So I would just, but I didn't really take a lot of time to like know what it is or like what it's called, right? So now like you look back and somebody goes, "Oh, what's this?" And like, you can show me something, and I'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, I used to have that all the time," or "Oh yeah, I love that stuff," but I don't necessarily know what it's called.
It's
And
interesting
the only
because...
thing that I do. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, except that some of the desserts are weird. That's all.
They're not weird.
Here we go.
But it's interesting because I was interviewed for Pageantry Fanatics. They're a group in the Philippines. And so they were talking to me, and we were also talking about Filipino food at one point. And they came back to me and they're like, you seem like you were raised in the Philippines. And I'm like, I was just raised with a lot of Filipino culture. I'm sorry. I was born here, but very Filipino. So
Must have been nice
There
to
you
hear
go.
though, because a lot of people, born here, raised here, they don't have as much of their cultural background on them, even if their parents are trying, and then there's
Well,
a
it's
whole
like my
cultural
brothers.
gap.
with my brothers, like me and my brothers were night and day. Like I'm more Filipino. Like I understand, I can speak, I eat. I've been there. Where my brothers, you speak to them simple words in Filipino, and they'll be like, I don't understand you. Same parents, just I don't know.
Yeah. Did your parents more spoke Tagalog to you more when you were younger, and as opposed to your brothers, or?
I don't know. I think I've always understood it. And I think because I understood it, it made it easier to speak, where my brothers just never understood it. interesting how it works.
Well, yeah, that's the boat I'm in. So I didn't I didn't really grow up hearing it regularly because obviously my parents, they spoke English to each other. And so that's really what I heard. I only heard Tagalog if we went to like my aunt's place or like.
Well, we tried to teach you. We tried to teach you in a segment that we used to have on the show, and then we moved studios, and you're like, "Screw it, I don't want to learn."
Well, the thing is, we did have a segment. Yeah, that's right. We had a segment where I would learn usually a new phrase, right? Mm-hmm. A new phrase every week. But you know what the
Do you know how
problem
to say
is,
Merry Christmas in Tagalog? As you get some ASMR from Michael.
Yeah, I used to at one point, but they see the problem again is that I noticed every time with that, even that segment, it's like I would learn the phrase, and then I would say the phrase, and then about 3 minutes after saying the phrase, exactly, then it's like and it's gone. So like it would be one of those things.
As it's gonna be like a lifelong journey for you to like rediscover and to learn new things in life, right? Because if you know it all in the beginning, then what's there to discover later in life? So
that's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah, I read
So you appreciate things in a different way when you get older. It's like watching like movies, and then you watch it again, and you're like, oh wow, I didn't notice that.
True.
Yeah, there are a lot of North American-born people of different cultures who find that when they're young, they weren't really connected with their culture, and in some cases outright reject it. And then when they're older, they're like, oh my God, now I really want to reconnect. Like I read, I don't remember the name of it, but when I was in university, because I took sociology, that was one of my double majors. And one of the books we had to read was about a Chinese man who tried to reconnect with his Chinese roots in his 40s. But he had nothing. Like no, he couldn't speak the language. He didn't practice any traditions, celebrate nothing. And the whole book was just him writing down his experience of like going to China and just reconnecting. And actually there were some family connections there as well that he could find. And he went to them. It was amazing. So like Nightingale says, it's something that, the lifelong journey you could, reconnect as time goes on.
It's like that show on TLC. I think it's Who Do You Think You Are or something like that, where they do the DNA test and then they go back into like the different countries and rediscover themselves and their family. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Watch I not even be Filipino. Plot twist.
Who knows?
Are you going to do a one of those, 23andMe or Ancestry DNA tests?
I want to. I'm so curious to know.
Yeah, I actually would like to do that myself as well.
We should do a segment on the show, Scott, where we both do it, and then a month or two later, we get our results. We should consider it.
It's not a bad idea.
One of my cousins.
Good idea.
Can they sponsor us?
Yes, please sponsor this show and then have 99 on, just so we can see the
and
results.
we'll all do our results together.
Yeah. My cousin, one of my cousins on my mom's side, my mom's sister's son, he actually got his DNA test, and apparently we are potentially 15% Vietnamese on my mom's side.
Oh wow!
So, Night and I might have more DNA in common than we thought.
How interesting. Yeah, I would like to get one because I don't even know.
I think that's the story. We're all related to Genghis Khan.
I think we are, yeah.
Oh, actually, I heard about that. And Genghis Khan had like, I don't even know what the number is, but like thousands and thousands of offspring or something.
Damn.
He was a busy guy, that Genghis Khan.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, I would like to do the 23andMe thing because I don't really know, like even on either side of my family, my mom's side and my dad's side, like as soon as you go back just a few generations, I'm not really clear on what specifically we all are. So I would just be curious to know.
I think I've heard that 23andMe versus Ancestry, they're very different. So you can do one and do another one and they'd be different results.
Whoa.
I think the most accurate was Ancestry.
Interesting. I don't know how to feel. What does that mean? Who's wrong? Is one of them wrong? Are they both?
Now you've got to do an episode.
Well, here's the thing. So my fiance did 23andMe, but he has Ancestry. So once he finally does Ancestry, I'll compare his results and then we'll find out. But then we have to do it
Okay.
too, Scott, on a show. How about
I
when
actually
we're
like that
in
idea.
studio again? Because since we can actually do it at the same time, we'll do that.
Yes. So sometime in late 2025.
Get Scott to 2,000 subs, and that's what we'll do.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, they're saying now late 2021 things will be back to normal.
So this time next year, we'll be in the studio again.
It's kind of what I've expected of this pandemic. I was telling people literally back in like April, I was like, we're not going to see the end of this until like late 2021 because that makes sense. Scientifically
Yeah.
speaking.
Yeah, and I mean now like the actual vaccines are actually rolling out now, so
Mhm. It was
I
You
guess-
pressed it though?
like- honestly, mostly yes. I mean, they're already starting to. I feel like by the time they get to the point where like I would be eligible to go get it, I feel like so many other people will have already had it. I think
Yeah.
you know.
But we still have to wait.
Ja-
It's like, for example, I have friends who are I'm going to have a child, and they're pregnant, so they won't get it until baby's here, and maybe even a little bit after, right? So it's going to take even if everyone wanted it, it's going to take time before everyone can get it.
Yeah, I know that like right now they're only giving it mainly to frontline people and sort of most vulnerable, which makes sense.
I just want to give a quick
uh,
shout out to Alexander Blackburn in Chester, England, buddy. Stay strong. He has COVID-19. He's in the hospital, so
Oh gosh.
stay strong, man. Stay strong. Beat it.
It's so crazy to see all the cases, one going up, and then hearing about people that you actually know get it. Like I know my godfather, his daughter works as a frontline worker. She got COVID in July. It's December, and she doesn't have it anymore, but she still has like the symptoms and stuff. Like she still can't taste, she still can't smell, and she's 18. So
No.
Jeez, that's so crazy. In fact, speaking of that, did you guys hear about? Did you guys hear this recording of Tom Cruise yelling at his film crew? Did you guys hear about that?
Yes.
I was supposed to. That's what I was supposed to do this morning. No, I didn't.
Oh, that's okay. Well, it's basically I guess you guys both heard it. Sorry. Yeah, you both heard it,
I
right?
did,
I saw
yes,
you
yes.
nodding. So basically, the context is he's in the UK. He's on set. You only hear the audio. I guess somebody secretly recorded it while he was doing it. But apparently, from what I heard is that people were kind of being kind of lax with the rules. So they had, COVID rules in place because all film sets do in order to be allowed to get insurance and actually work. You have to do it. And one of them was to social distance and wearing masks. And apparently people were just being very lax with the masks. And then I think this particular moment is two people weren't social distancing. They were like standing right next to each other looking at a computer screen. And Mr. Cruise just that was his last straw, and he reprimanded everybody and yelled at the whole crew and basically threatened to fire anybody who doesn't follow the rules.
Can he do that? Sorry.
He's a producer.
Well, he was the
okay.
producer of the film. Yeah, like he's the big boss. I will just say I was 100% on his side for that. I don't know how you guys felt.
I am 100% behind the sentiment. I think that there could have been a better way to deliver said message. Yelling is not necessarily, especially with the amount of profanities he used, may not necessarily be the best way to get the message across. But at the same time, as a producer, also the lead actor and all these other things, I also understand that he was under a lot of stress. So it's like a mixed feeling I have about this, because I get where he's coming from. It's just that, at least on my end, I would never handle it in that manner.
Knight, what were your thoughts on it?
Honestly, I do echo Michael's. Like, the intention was there. It's just that, execution-wise, it could have been better.
Yeah. My thoughts are, I was just, what it was is that for me, I think I was happy that he was so angry because it just, for me, it echoed two things. The first one is that literally 100% of the time that I've had to venture outside, whether it's to a store, now we're in lockdown, so there's not much open anymore, but midway through when there was like, whether I have to go to Home Depot or like the grocery store or anything like that, 100% of the time, every store has rules in place or like guidelines, like this aisle is one way, you must wear a mask. It must be over your nose and over your chin, stay 6 feet away from people at all times. But like 100% of the time I've gone to any store, I always see at least one and usually multiple times where people just don't quite do it, right?
I don't
I've
follow
seen people
those
walk
arrows. I'm not gonna lie.
So
I've screwed
so
up
there's
the
before.
thing is nobody else does. So I'm like, if people are going in the opposite
that's-
direction, I'm gonna go in the opposite direction too.
Yeah, well, that exactly, but that's what happened. The one that gets me though is the mask. Like you see people walking like the mask is like this or like
Yeah.
and so I guess I think maybe when I was hearing Tom Cruise yell about it, I was just like, he's saying what we're all
All
we'd all
thinking.
absolutely.
know what to say.
Yeah.
But which parent is
But-
scarier? The one that screams and yells, or the one who just sits there with absolute burning rage behind their eyes, and then they just say, "I'm
I'm
disappointed."
disappointed.
That's true.
Come
on,
Yeah, that's a
man.
good point. That's a good point.
I also
wouldn't
Mind
be
you, I will
like-
say.
Sorry.
I
Sorry. What were you
also
just saying?
think that this was probably like an ongoing issue, and which is why, like, he had to lash out. So there's probably more things
Yes.
underneath
I
that
do
we
wonder.
don't know.
Yes, of course.
That's the thing. Yeah, like I agree. I have a feeling. I don't think this was like day one of filming, and he saw one person step within 5 feet instead of 6. From what I heard, it was something that like, again, and I can understand it because I see it. So, like in a store, right? It says stay 6 feet away from everybody, right? So let's say you're in an aisle, but most aisles are not much wider than 6 feet.
Yeah.
So if you want to pass somebody, right, you have to go within 6 feet. So if you're walking and somebody in front of you stops, if you want to maintain 6 feet,
You
you
gotta
kind of have to wait for them to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wait for them to finish or whatever, but that never ever happens, right? And I can say I'm probably even guilty of that too. But then what happens is inevitably like traffic jams build up, or like you'll have one person kind of waiting and somebody else goes, no, I don't want to wait. So then they're going through both people, right? Then you add on that people. So, and I know I've worked on a few film sets in this time during these days, and I'm happy to say those film sets I've been on, people have been quite good with the rules.
Yep.
But again, it all depends on it depends what people's thoughts are, like how seriously they actually take it. Because there's the issue of like, okay, yeah, they want me to wear a mask, so I guess I'll put this mask on. But if they don't actually in their minds think it's doing anything, they're not going to really care if it falls down under their chin or all this stuff. So I can imagine if he's sitting there all day, and like he says in the rant, I mean, he's saying every night he's on the phone with insurance companies and all these people, and the films are at this point the film had already been shut down twice because of outbreaks at different times they've been shooting around the world. So I mean, I will say, if there was a time to get angry and yell and swear, I mean, it's got to be when people are flouting safety regulations
sense,
during a
yeah.
pandemic.
Well,
right?
that's the thing.
I
Right? We
mean-
don't know the entire story, and I don't think we ever will. That's why it is mixed for me, right? I'm like, I get it. I totally get it. But if that's all we have to go on, it's rough, right?
That's true. Yeah, in fact, we can actually say, like, even the opinion I just gave, I'm giving this opinion based on the circumstances that I've heard. So if any of those are wrong, then obviously I'll alter it. But like I'm just imagining it myself. If I was director on a set, and never mind COVID restrictions, just like if I saw somebody do something incredibly stupid and dangerous, right? Like maybe they decide to turn on a piece of heavy machinery wherever we're working, and taking it toward a crowd and not paying attention or something like that, right? And like someone's life is in danger. It would be like that's the time to reprimand that person, and
Of
especially
course.
if this is their third time they've done it when they've already been asked. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, I would like to
there's
say
a-
that the productions I've been on, at least, like, I mean, yes, there were several times that the COVID rules were accidentally, or maybe intentionally, I don't know, broken. But we do have COVID officers on set these days. And, when they catch it, they do come up, stay safely away and go, hey, don't do
Yeah.
this or don't do that, or hey guys, there's too many people in the room, and that has happened. Like this one time we were having lunch, and it's a little cold outside, so everyone's like rushing in to grab their box before they go back out, but it was more than 10 people at one point, and a COVID officer had to like shove people back up and be like, guys wait outside, and it's like 6 feet apart, and so formed a line. So like these things do happen. At least in Canada, I'm glad that we have the whole COVID officer system. Like that way it would take some of the burden off of like the producers and the director and all that, and so they won't get to the Tom Cruise point of explosion.
Yeah, that's what Tom Cruise needs. He needs an officer with him. But speaking of officers and making sure that everyone's in line when it comes to COVID, okay, have you guys seen what's been going on in London with the lockdown happening?
England or Ontario?
England. So they announced that they're going on to lockdown. So people are fleeing London, but because they're all trying to take a train, some people have literally bought an extra ticket to avoid for social distancing, but they're like, no, screw social distancing. We're all going to jam pack onto here.
Yeah, I've heard stuff about the
It's
UK.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I saw it
problem
all
with
over
them is-
Twitter. It was insane.
They also have a new strain, a new strain of COVID-19 in the UK that's more virulent than the one that we're used to.
A what?
It's worse.
Oh my god.
Like it's mutated or whatever.
It's mutated in the UK. I'm just sitting. I'm like 28 days later isn't too far off over there, huh? The movie.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it mutated.
To think it couldn't have gotten any worse.
I feel so bad for them. Seriously, like,
But if you guys just listened and followed the arrows, we wouldn't be here.
I'm starting to think, like, even in Ontario, right? Like, we locked down Toronto and Peel and didn't lock down York region, which is where I live. And what happens? Everyone from Toronto and Peel come up here, pack, like, the Costco down the street had several cases and they got fined. Our super center got fined and they had cases too. And it's just,
well, it's like Vaughan Mills, the weekend when they shut, the weekend of lockdown, literally everyone went to Vaughan Mills. You watch CP24, they're literally interviewing people like, oh, where are you from? I'm from Mississauga. Well, first of all, why would you announce that on the news? Second of all, why did you go there? But now they're all going to go to Durham.
Well, yeah, they're already in Hamilton at their mall, and then they're in trouble. So
Hamilton's on lockdown as of tomorrow, so they're all going to be Pickering Town Center in a few days. So
it's just spreading outwards, guys. Like it's frustrating, and I don't want to punish the North, right? Like Northern Ontario doesn't have a lot, but seriously, like we might have to just lock down, and I hate it because I don't want to hurt people's livelihood. But if we lock down for a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, that might, then we'll stop the flow of people.
Well, it's like what happened in the spring.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my concern though is that it's people are tired of it already. Like it's in people's rearview mirrors. So like Toronto is locked down right now, but you wouldn't really know it. Like the like businesses that have to be closed are closed, right? Yep. But every location that isn't open or that isn't locked down or that has like you can have people go to it, people are there, right? So
Scott, how busy
so basically
is your
people
area?
are
sorry, because you're in a very busy Toronto area.
Yeah, yes, it's very busy. Like it everywhere is just busy. Like you wouldn't think. Basically, the only time it really ever felt there was like a lockdown was when this thing first happened and you went outside and the streets were deserted and it was so eerie. That has not happened at all. Like I think their idea of hoping to shut things down, I mean that's the problem, is that people are in their minds it's done, right? Because unfortunately it feels distant enough that people just kind of feel like it doesn't apply to them. Anyway,
the other thing is like, we've advanced our society to the point where our medical advancements have allowed us to live relatively well for a long enough time that as a generation, multiple generations, we never experienced what happened during the Spanish flu and other sicknesses. Like our lifespans are longer, things are better, we can heal faster, and people just don't get it. They just do not get it. Oh well.
As he
So,
continues to give us ASMR. As
Yes,
he
I am.
eats.
Represent
I
the
haven't had
pod.
breakfast yet. Okay, so this is making me hungry.
Go get food. Let's all eat together.
You know what? I can't because my fridge is filled with chocolate. Like there's nothing else to eat in this house.
Can you send me some? No, I'm kidding. I already bought some, by the way.
I know. Literally, my entire I have. If you saw me on my computer, it's because people are like, "Can I pick up at 12 o'clock?" And I'm like, sure.
So, speaking of our quarantine situation, how has the quarantine impacted talking with our mouths full?
Nightingale.
Oh, we've just moved online, so we're just doing what you're doing. We're still having fun. We're still eating. Well, Michael's mostly eating right now. But,
Yeah. So you guys have you guys are still doing when you can, you grab takeout, yeah, and then you eat it over online version of the podcast.
Yeah. So the difference, the main, I guess, outside of yes, we're all online, we're interviewing people online. Is the main difference is that we don't have the nice, background noise of the eateries that we visit in person, and we can't let our listeners. Pardon me?
Share food anymore.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Like only one of us eats on per episode, and that's kind of sad because sharing food with each other and with our guests is one of the joys of our podcast, along with letting people hear the places we go to, because every place sounds different, and we want people to. The whole idea was we want people to get a sense of what it's like. It's like they're sitting next to us. They're part of the conversation. They're part of the pod itself, which is why we keep the background noise and we don't cut it out, and come from a silent void like a lot of shows, right? And but now we can't really do that, which is why I still try to I set my microphone to record everything around me as opposed to just unidirectional, just because you'll have a bit of fan noise. Maybe my kid will start crying or something. At least you'll have something to make you feel like you're there with me and there with Nightingale and there with our guests.
I was listening to your podcast and I was listening to you guys talking about dim sum. I'm like, when was the last time I had dim sum? I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a while. And I like eating it at the restaurant. I know I
don't like takeout, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the
just
same.
Something about eating it.
When the cart's not coming by and you can pick what you want, it's not the same.
Yeah, restaurants. Jeez, feels so long ago. Feels so far away. Feels
so foreign.
Yeah, it does. It's weird. Regine, we should do the ads, and then I want to come back and talk a little bit about the quarantine capsule archives.
Yes,
I
please.
want to hear about that. But first, everybody, this lovely conversation that we have been engaging in was brought to you by some very important people, right, Regine?
Yes. I saw,
And,
I've seen 2 of them this week.
Oh, wonderful.
At a socially
that's right,
distanced
because
aspect.
yes.
Doing it.
Yes. But they are, of course, our advertisers. They make the show possible. Hey, Regine.
Yes, Scott?
Do you want to find out what your home is really worth?
Now that I have a fireplace, yes, I would.
Yeah, there you go. It's ultra fancy now. Are you buying, selling, investing, or renting a home?
Depends how much my home is worth.
Well, then Jennifer C., Realtor at Home Life Culture Link, is here to help. Call or text Jennifer today at 647-403-8887. Don't deal with just anyone. Speak to a professional. Jennifer C. at HomeLifeCultureLink.com.
Michael,
The Mortgage Godfather. The Mortgage Godfather is here to give you advice with any mortgage needs you may have. And he will shop to find you the best mortgage. Nino Saimeka, mortgage agent. He'll give you an offer you can't refuse. He'll give you an offer you can't refuse, Regine.
Michael's gonna get rice up his nose.
Find out more at mortgagegodfather.ca or call 905-604-6955. jewelry forever. Conveniently located at CF Markville Shopping Center on 5000 Highway 7 East, Markham. They do custom-made jewelry, repairs, and change watch batteries, all done on site. And we've got a wonderful deal worked out with them, don't we, Regine?
Yes, we do. If you let them know that Scott and Regine sent you, you'll get 15% off your entire purchase. And I know that they're
That's
closed
right.
now, but I'm sure if you go onto their Instagram and let them know Scott and Regine sent you, you'll still get that discount.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure they do that. Although, yeah, I think they would. But and you can order online still, right? They are open for that stuff? I think they are.
I think so.
Yeah, so find out more at jewelryforever.ca or call 905-474-3837. They do amazing work over there. And that's right, you tell them Scott and Regine sent you, get 15% off, 15% off your purchase. And it was brought to you by Deliciousness Treats.
We are fully booked for Christmas. It's not fully booked. We're overbooked for Christmas, but we are taking orders for the New Year's, and I will be releasing, if you watch Scott's Christmas birthday special, I had a smash cake, so we will be smashing into the new year with those, so stay tuned. Deliciousness Treats, hot chocolate bombs, dipped Oreos, and now smash cakes. So check us out on Instagram, deliciousness_treats, and Facebook at Deliciousness Treats.
Deliciousness Treats.
Yes.
Sweet treats in a mug.
Why must you say it like that?
Which one did I used to say? Who's? Oh yeah, I used to say
Line
Cecile's
dancing.
line dancing like that. With a twist. Sweet treats in a mug. That's how you. I think that's how you envisioned that when you wrote that. But very good.
I'm changing it
And it's
now,
very
but-
easy to advertise on the show, right, Regine? If you would like to advertise.
It's so simple. All you guys have to do is email us at radioshowad. That's radioshowad@gmail.com.
That's right. Get in touch. Advertise on the show. It's a great way to reach a brand new audience. And we do this show live, just like right now, which means you can personalize the ads week to week. Do you have an event, a sale, some particular thing happening in a specific time and place? You let us know. We let your audience know in real time. It's almost like magic.
And
It's
the
like a
best-
Christmas miracle. Oh, yes?
Yes, it is a Christmas miracle. And the best part is 2021 is just around the corner. So why not start a new year on a new platform? Advertise with us.
And it
Right,
actually
people,
works
get in
because
touch.
I bought four hot chocolate bombs from
Yes.
Deliciousness Treats.
Yes, and I
Bam,
do
there it
appreciate
is.
that.
A glowing testimonial right there live on the show, people.
That's right.
Yes,
And
but I
will
do
be doing a
appreciate
video.
that. I do appreciate it, Michael, because as you guys mentioned on the show, your show, proceeds from different chocolate bombs do go to different charities for different months. And you guys talked about the Milo bomb, and we talked about it here too. So this month it was the Coffee Crisp chocolate bomb, which, Michael, you bought 4 of them. So
Yes.
all of that money will be going towards Give Kids the World Village, which I just heard will be reopening in January. So it's perfect timing to get the funds to them.
Wonderful. There you go.
And we're back.
Get in touch, people. Get in touch. And we're back. Welcome back, everybody, to our Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown Christmas Spectacular. It's a podcast crossover with Talking with Our Mouths Full. We're here with Michael and Knight from Talking with Our Mouths Full. And guys, I want to ask you about, specifically, I guess Knight would be best to speak about it. But
Yep.
please tell us a little bit about the quarantine capsule
Ooh.
archives.
Alright, so in a nutshell, the quarantine capsule, or also known as the QQ, so you don't have to say the whole thing, saving you some time. It is a digital archive of the Asian Canadian experience during the COVID-19 pandemic, and we're using creative works to illustrate that. It's in collaboration with Museum and T-Base.
Nice.
Wonderful. So how did this project come about?
It came from this pandemic.
Yeah.
It also came from the fact that I was in a short film called Wuhan, Toronto, where we did talk about the pandemic as well, about isolation and loneliness. It also came from the fact that a lot of my friends in the community were just hurt from all of the discrimination. It came from the fact that our physical cultural spaces, there was no more foot traffic. So what about those businesses as well? And I just saw so many beautiful things that were being made online. Like a lot of people are making sourdough bread and all those cool like home isolation challenges, like the coffee, Caldona
The whipped
coffee.
coffee, yeah.
Yeah, the whipped coffee. And I just thought, why don't we just put all these places, all these things into one place, and just to reclaim our, our history, instead of being known as the victim and being excluded. Why don't we take back all of that? So I just wanted to create a safe space for my friends and just to archive it. So that way, when we look back on this time, it's not so sad and gloomy, but it's like, hey, I was a part of something fun.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Really, really cool. Sub to Bomb Killer, welcome to the show. Hi there. We're here with Knight and Michael from the Talking with Our Mouseful podcast. How do you change your hair so fast for Sunday? Magic. Christmas magic, Sub to Bomb Killer. Christmas magic, that's how. So Knight, specifically about what it is. So what if people want to like see it or
Be a
engage
part of
with
it,
this
yeah.
archive? Yeah. What do they do? Where do they go?
Alrighty, so you just go on to museumoftoronto.com/exhibition/quarantine capsule. So all of that is online. It is free. It's accessible, as museum is known as the Toronto's Museum Without Walls. So that's why they were the perfect partner. That way everyone around the world can access the archive.
Yeah.
The website is designed where there's different prompts at every different section to teach you why archiving is important, why inheritance is important, why there's a big intrinsic relationship between our cultural and community spaces are important. And we also have the mentorship program, which was another component of that, and a webinar, which you can find on YouTube, which talks about why archiving Asian Canadian voices is important. I can go into those two aspects if anything.
Cool. Yeah, so it's for people hearing, it's Myseum. So MYSEUM. And I put the link in the description, guys. So yeah, it's myseum.com. myseumoftoronto.com/exhibition/quarantine-capsule. Capsule spelled with a Q. But if you're watching this right now, just scroll down to the description and you can click on it right there. So the idea is that it's a digital museum. It's a digital version, so you can sort of access it from anywhere. And what sort of things can they find here in the quarantine capsule? What sort of artwork and displays do they have in there?
You can find short films, you can find vlogs, you can find pictures, you can find people's stories, basically anything. There's also a VR gallery, which is really cool. An original song, for example, called Quarantine and Chill, which is really cute. Poems. You can find basically everything, and it's all very digestible. Everything is about 3-4 minutes long for videos, and a whole gallery of pictures. So everything's just very digestible.
Cool.
And how have you found it being received?
There's been a lot of positive ripple effects, I could say. So people outside of Ontario saw it and they wanted to promote it. People outside Canada have reached out and they want to do something about it. Mainstream news has wanted to promote the event as well for our webinar. The fact that we were able to build bridges across different generations, so that was really interesting. People in small communities who are feeling isolated feel connected as they are a part of it or just observing it. And there's just more people who want to explore and talk about these topics to further help out with their own communities, because they're asking me, what can I do further? And I said, you're already doing it by asking and talking about it.
Very cool. So people go check it out. So how did you go about? I mean, it's so cool. You're talking about this whole exhibit that's been created. I don't even know where to start creating something like that. What did you have to go through to create something like that?
Like with everything, you always have to go through a lot of hurdles. So when I originally thought of the idea, I was honestly waiting for somebody to talk about it and to do something about it. And when no one was doing it, I thought, okay, well, it's so simple. Why isn't anyone doing this? So I pitched the idea to a couple of friends, and I guess like they had their best interest for me, but I guess the response was really misunderstood. I was underestimated, as you know, it is a very big undertaking. So it was just a lot of concern. met with lots of doubt. Some people wanted to change the whole vision, the idea, because like, wow, it's something that's so inclusive. Like, how is that going to work? Like, I don't think it's possible. And so to me, I realized like the QQ is meant to serve and not to please people. Like that was just the big thing. So I realized like with that mentality, I moved forward and I forgot about everyone's doubts, because that's the thing with like living online too, is that you let that one piece of negative like overshadow all the positives. So when I really thought about the message of the QQ, it was just meant to serve and not to please. It helped me move forward. I talked to my friends at T-Base, and then we ended up talking to my museum. And because they're both very community-driven, people-forward initiatives, that's when everything started to authentically align to where it is now. And it grew bigger into something I didn't think of. I just wanted a safe space for my friends, but then to everyone else, it became something bigger and impactful for them.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
Out of curiosity, how did Qapsule be spelled with a Q?
Honestly, I was thinking of the word capsule, and then I just liked the fact that if we branded it as QQ, it would be cooler. And also, I just saw a few other places that were doing time capsules, and I thought it could still be spelled with a Q, and it would just be cool to call it the QQ. And also, it sounds kind of Asian, like in bubble tea, like QQ.
That's true.
Yep.
So people check it out. www.myseum, MYSEUM of Toronto.com/exhibition/quarantine-capsule spelled with a Q. Yes. Link in description. Just go click the link in description. You don't have to remember what I just said. Just click on the link down below. And cool. Check out that very cool archive. Michael.
Yes.
You're in trouble.
You are apparently the only Asian.
You want to talk about that? Yes.
Scott looks really
or so I have heard.
So before I get into that, I just want to mention that the next 2 episodes of Talking with Our Mouths Full, so this coming Tuesday, which is a off-schedule episode, will actually be a QQ quarantine capsule special, where we have interviewed the 3 mentees from the mentorship program. And then the week after that, on the Tuesday, is our final episode of 2020, where the guest is my co-host, Nightingale, and she will be talking about her journey. Yes. Talking about her journey from beginning to end of creating the quarantine capsule. So 2 QQ specials.
I've heard she's a good guest to have, I think.
Nightingale's a fantastic guest. I would love to have her on a lot more in 2021.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I heard she's pretty awesome. I heard she also was a cool mentor from the previews I've been hearing for the mentorship.
Yeah, I've heard that she has really good taste in headwear and spectacles. Yes.
Oh, and food.
Oh yes.
There you go.
Come on.
You can see a little bit of her on YouTube on the museum's website, because we recorded the webinar too.
Yeah.
There you go.
ASL and transcripts available for accessibility.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And so now, apparently, Michael, you are the only Asian, apparently.
Yes,
Even though there's 4 of us on this call.
I believe.
Yes. But please tell us a little bit about the only Asian, because it's kind of blowing up right now.
It is. It's okay. So, the last time I was on your show, you were interviewing myself and Timothy Ng for the short film that we made called Switch, which was entered into the Isolation Short Film Festival in Toronto. Now, after that festival, I kind of had the filmmaking bug bite me.
Ooh.
And I was like, man, I really want to make something else, but something just a tiny bit more meaningful than Switch. So
Switch wasn't meaningful.
Look, man, you see my bare bum on a toilet in a bathroom. I don't know how meaningful that can get, but
For some, it might be.
Ever.
And it is now yes, immortalized on the QQ. It's one of the exhibits if you want to.
Your
see
butt is an exhibit.
Yes, it is. So
Yes.
Go to the QQ and see me on a toilet. Anyways, thank you, Night. It's all your fault. No, she really Night has been a very Night has been very, very, very positive influence on my life. She's just very encouraging, and she's always pushing me forward, wanting me to just explore all avenues of artistic creativity. So, big credit to her for being my support, one of my big part of my support system. But yeah, so after Switch, I kind of had this filmmaking bug bite, and I wanted to make something else. And several of my Asian actor friends had lost their agents through the pandemic, unfortunately, and they were starting to look for a new agent. And I noticed that in our conversations, one of the threads that is very common is that they're all looking at potential agents rosters and going, who's in my category? Who looks like me? I can't have someone else who looks like me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course you can. Like, I mean, obviously you don't want too many of them, but and the more we talk, the more I realize, wait, I used to have this issue. I was looking for everything okay? Okay. So yeah, I had this problem too where like when I'm looking
we're good.
Oh, when I'm looking for a new agent, I need to look at their roster to make sure that either they don't have anyone who looks like me or not that many, because in my mind, the opportunities in this industry for people who look like me and look like us aren't as great. So you don't want that much competition in your own roster. You want your agent to focus on you in your category. And that's kind of sad, you know, that is something you have to consider, that agents can't just give everybody on their rosters equal time. I mean, they should, but you know, it doesn't always happen. So I don't know. It's just one day I was actually on a set chatting with some people over lunch about while we were all separated, masked, and having giant barriers between us, telling them about this experience, and they're like, I don't know, maybe you should write a film about it. I'm like, yeah, maybe I should write a film. And then it's just I typed the whole thing into Google Docs over lunch, and like workshopped it with the people I was eating lunch with, and then called up Ginny Wong, who's who's a wonderful actress in my roster, and my good friend Katisha Shah, who you know is best actresses I know. And I was like, I have this script. It's a 3-hander, and called The Only Asian, about that experience of you know getting an agent. And so I am not a good filmmaker, I will say that. I don't know much about filmmaking because I'm new to it. I'm terrible at editing. I'm very, very basic. Like I don't know a lot of stuff. So obviously, like, I could learn over time, but we're also in a pandemic, so it's not like we can all get together. So I figured, you know what, if I'm going to do this, the easiest like format for a new filmmaker like me would be Zoom. Make it look like a Zoom call, because the amount of editing I would have to do is minimal, and I can still learn through it. So how do I tell a story using a Zoom format? And that's so it became like a Zoom conversation, a micro short film. It's about a minute. And so after we made it, originally there's an original version of the film that had copyrighted music, because I wasn't really intending for the film to go anywhere. I just wanted to make it for fun and just have it go out there and be a message about representation and diversity in the film industry. But then a few people were like, Michael, why not submit it to a bunch of stuff? Why not see what this thing can do? I mean, a lot of people connected with it and really liked it who saw it. So I was like, okay, fine. I re-edited it with a song that I got the license to, and started submitting. And out of nowhere, I got selected. The film got selected to the Culver City Film Festival, and then next thing I know, we had won an award at the Quarantini Monthly Film Festival, and now we're also at selected and a finalist at Frostbite International Film Festival, and we just got selected to Lit Laughs International Comedy Film Festival. So it's a shock. Like 4 festivals showing us and an award at one of them is just I'm humbled. I can't believe it. Like, it's such, for a film that looks the way it looks, right? It's not Hollywood quality by any means, and it's just a simple 1 minute micro short. I would never expect anything like this to make it as far as it has. So that's where we are.
I just want to add that honestly, it just comes from the message, because like even with like the mentorship program with the QQ, like
It's amazing.
It's from people who don't have like a formal artistic background, but they do want help. So we have like a few entries in the QQ from people who have no experience and they created something, but that's because they had a strong message to say. So Michael had something to say, and that's what people got from it. It's not about the production value. It's about what he was saying.
Right. I agree with Knight 100% on that. You were saying, Scott?
Awesome.
There's a delay.
Oh yeah, I was just. Is there? Hang on. Can you guys? Is there a delay again, or
There is
you
a
guys hear
delay.
We can
So
hear
you-
each other fine. It's you. I think it's because
Yeah,
I
I'm hearing
unplugged my.
things late. I hate when it
Sorry.
does this. All right, let me see.
Hang on. Let me try something.
No.
Oh,
that
yeah,
better?
okay. Yeah, that usually. Let me see. Say hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, we're back. Good.
It works. There you go. That's my
Perfect.
fault.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
It's because my phone was dying, and I was like, "Oh no, Michael's talking.
Yeah.
Let's not."
Yeah, I find anytime that happens, I don't know why
always
it
a
like
delay.
it affects. Yeah, it does something. Anyway, technology, live show,
I
people.
figured it
What
out
makes it
now,
fun?
so it's all good.
Yes. And Auk, hello, welcome to the show. Auk, Christmas is just a few days away. Yes, it is, Auk, and that's why we're here on our wonderful Christmas special with Mike and Knight from Talking with Our Mouths Full. And yeah, sorry, Knight, what you were just I want to just like agree with what you just said there. I think Michael, like you're saying, even though the I don't know, let's say the technical side of the film, yeah, might be, it's not like overly complex or anything, but I think what's touching with people is the message, and I think you're touching on something that affects a lot of people and speaks to them. And I find, I mean, that part is, in my opinion, the important part of filmmaking. And like, you know, you can pepper all the special effects and all the magical editing and everything you want, but if you don't have a decent sort of base and a message and like what you're actually trying to say, it doesn't work. And so I think you've gotten the important part right, and I think that's why it's.
I realize I didn't tell your listeners what the movie is actually like about. Yes, it's about getting an agent. So basically, two Asian actors meet up on Zoom because one of them just joined the agency of the other actor. So now they have conflict. There you go.
Yeah, I think, you don't. And I wouldn't
So
say,
it's
I
basically
would say
what
don't give
happened
too
at
much
a
away.
No, that's it. That's basically it.
So it's basically how
Nice.
like the last time you guys were on here, the two of you and Timothy had all casted for the same thing. So it's
Yeah.
Oh,
Basically,
yeah,
it's,
well, yeah,
it's that.
exactly.
It's that exactly. That
it's
the
that
three
but
of
in a
us
short film.
competed for the same role. Yes.
Yes, and it's it's kind of. I mean, I guess that's just the way it is. But that's right. We're in the kind of the similar.
I mean, Scott, you and I have
Demographic,
competed
I
for
guess.
roles since we first met. There was that modeling gig. There was that commercial. Yeah. Then
Yeah.
neither of
You
us.
can
right.
even tell Michael has like a list of things that he has seen you at, and Scott's like, "Oh yeah,
No, well, no, I can remember seeing him. My problem is my memory is awful. Like I have a terrible. So like, I'll need to be reminded of like, oh yeah, we were at that thing. I'll remember that I saw somebody, but I won't remember where or for what. You know. So that's why I'm not. My recall is not good. Like
I don't know. My memory
But-
is terrible. Like I'm terrible with names, but I know which faces I see where and how often. I'm weird like
Yeah.
that.
You know, I used to think I was good with faces, but now I've realized no, I forget those two.
Scott, do you even remember
It's
the
age.
first time we met?"
The very first time we met? No.
Me neither. It's okay.
Okay, good.
And I have.
Well, 'cause
good
the thing about-
memory, so.
Yeah, but the thing is, we probably the first time we met wouldn't have been hi, I'm Scott. It's more likely that we were both at the same event and we probably were in the same space, but we may not have even spoken to each other, right?
Yeah.
We were kind of...
It's not until
It
you
was
go
really-
back to the group photos and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, it was really this show that kind of brought us together. In fact, that's a good question for you two. So I guess you guys were already friends before the show, and then you decided to do the show together, or like where did the idea come from? Like, how did you end up,
Oh boy.
this is going to be our thing and we're going to be co-hosts and talk with our mouths full together?
I met Night before she was an adult.
Oh, she's an adult.
She looks like she's 13, right?
That's why I was like, wait, how old? No, I'm kidding.
Well, I was going to say there are no there are no adults on this show.
Not really.
God, you
Not-
are
not-
the oldest. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how old Michael is.
I'm actually the oldest here, so.
Oh.
We're all very, very young. Anyway, sorry, continue. Yes. So how did you become co-hosts?
It was all Michael's idea. And also, so I think that how you remember things is like you remember like purposeful like meetings. If that makes sense.
Purposeful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. I'm much more, that's true. If there's something like an eventful thing or like an emotional thing, I'll remember that forever and I'll remember specifics about it. But in terms of like general just stuff that happens, it just sort of washes over me like a water on a beach.
Anyway.
So
But I know what you mean.
I met Nightingale, I think either in 2007 or 8. So it's quite a while back, and that was actually a very memorable shoot. So back then I was non-union and I was doing background acting.
We met in 2009 for the record.
Oh, that was 9?
2009.
I honestly don't remember when it was. I just know it was at the beginning of my career, like very beginning. So thank you, Night. See, she knows her dates. So in 2009, we were both on the set of Degrassi. Was it Goes to New York or it's a Degrassi New York movie.
Degrassi Takes Manhattan.
Thank you. And
cool.
And it was a very long day. And Nightingale, I remember her very well. Outside of our pleasant conversation, it's just there was one dude who was like sitting next to me. He's like, yo, man, that girl over there, she's fine. I was like,
Drake?
what the hell? So it made me, I knew she was young. I didn't know how old back then. I was just like, she can't be an adult. And I felt, I don't know. The way he was looking at her made me feel protective. So I just hung around her to make sure the guy didn't bother her. But I don't know. From there, we became friends, and like we did a little short film together that I did for a competition for the scene card, where it was like a parody of Twilight, and then we kept in touch. Night, you started working at the
Bank scene card.
Yes, yeah, that's the one. And then Night, you started working at a film school where you were working with Vladimir Bondarenko, who is my mentor and my private acting coach, one of the greatest actors on the planet. And he kind of like Nightingale, like we were on and off, like in terms of being connected through the years until Vlad kind of brought us back together in a way. Then from there, I wanted to do a podcast, and I just, like I said, I started poking around until Night's like, let's meet up. I'm like, yes.
And the rest is history.
Yep.
How cool. Well, there you go. It began like that. Actually, you know, I don't have a way to segue into this. It's just something I noticed, and I wanted to get your opinion.
Sure.
But this is something so obviously we're all watching a lot more TV these days. But my girlfriend's been watching House, you know, the doctor show House,
Yep.
right? And also before that she was watching Dawson's Creek, you know? And the thing that I noticed, both of those shows, in fact, I didn't notice it at first, but the original theme song from both of those shows in the streaming version has been switched out to a different song.
Whoa.
Both of them. Yeah, and I didn't even know this was a thing, but so it's like they just didn't want to pay whatever the musician who created the theme song
That's rude.
for. Yeah, and so and I had forgotten. Like I'd watched the first few episodes, but I never really watched the show when it was on. But it had that really iconic I don't wanna wait forever.
Yeah.
You know that song? That song's not in it at all.
Holy.
Right? And then even the house theme song, they just had this generic instrumental music playing now. But it used to be like that doo-dee, 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 you know that one? And there's something about just removing something so iconic from a show like that I don't know, it makes me feel like it bugs me. Because it's
That's
like you're taking away...
Because for
Yeah.
Friends, if you watch the series on Netflix, it's still there. It's the original theme song. So I'm surprised that they did that for the other ones.
Yeah, well, that's why, it's, I guess for whatever it was, the contract negotiation, whatever they had to do to, like, when they were converting the shows over to streaming, I guess they didn't pay or didn't want to pay or whatever happened with the original artist. You know, the part that bugs me is it's like...
It's a part of the show.
Yep.
Yeah, but also from the artist's perspective, like, I know if I wrote a song that became like the theme song to like an iconic show, that's like a highlight of my career for sure, right? I mean, and if you're a one-hit wonder or something, like that might be your thing, you know?
And now it's gone.
And the thing that creeped me out more was like I didn't notice, right? Because I wasn't a huge fan of the show at the beginning, so I didn't even remember. And it's almost like, and then obviously new people who discover the show on streaming will never even know it's not there. So you've just sort of, you've removed that person's, contribution from, you've taken their legacy out of history. You've removed them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you
it
watch.
makes me.
It's like
Yeah.
if you watch The Sit Down and you don't hear Scott's intro anymore. It's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
If you've been following
Well,
since day one.
Yeah, well, but that's what I mean. It's like I don't know. And I guess it's just that thing. It always annoys me. It's the same thing when you find out that like, oh, why did this one person get recast? And so like, I don't know, you probably hate it too. You know, when you see like a new character.
That happens.
Yeah, they have like a different actor playing it, and it's like that doesn't work. And it's always because just something on the business end, didn't work, and so this person's, the money, It's just one more reminder of like I hate when like it's still a business, all this film stuff, and so it just annoys me that it affects kind of the artwork itself. It just, I don't know. I don't even really know what to. I'm not even sure if it's a good topic for discussion. It was just like.
I guess for me, it
felt
depends on what the reason is and how much it affects the art, right? Sometimes some certain recast characters kind of work better with the new actor. Sometimes.
That's fair. But if
Like-
you
Yeah,
think
I
about
mean-
it on Netflix or like
Yeah.
any streaming system, you don't really actually watch the intro. You just skip to the next episode. So does it really make a big difference?
Well, that's the thing is, it doesn't make a big difference to
The show.
probably most people. I guess my thought of it is more as an artist, just imagining like if I contributed something to a piece of art and it was like important, and important to me, or like I was proud of it or whatever, and to have it removed. I mean, I don't know. It's like you think of your favorite artist, and then suddenly all memory of like some of their biggest hits was just taken away. It's like something that artist is like gone. It's almost like they didn't exist. I don't know. It makes me. There's something weird and philosophical that I feel like it's irking me in a way that I can't even fully put into words. But there's
How does it
something
make
about
you
it.
feel, Scott?
Yeah. Well, it's just. I mean, it's like anything. If it's imagine if you got cast in a part and then they just digitally removed you, or they put another actor's face over yours and your name is gone.
Never been in a film.
And I was like, yeah. Oh no, I have, but coming soon. But it's just, I'm gonna imagine if it was just gone. Like your contribution was just removed, and there's no. Oh, what did you do? Oh, I wrote that theme song for that show back in the, and it's like, no, you didn't. I know that theme song. That's not your song. And it's like, it was though. I don't know.
But I do know how it feels because you totally took my face off of my body and put your brother's picture on it. So I get it. I totally get it. It's fine.
That's true. Yeah, when there was a couple episodes when Regine was out of town and my brother co-hosted.
But you know what? When you're out of town, I don't replace your face. I keep it there. So
that's true. Well, I mean, we haven't done any shows in the new format where you would be doing it.
Whatever.
So
yeah, but they still played your
unfortunately,
intro
Regine,
at the other studio, and you weren't there.
They should have made a new one.
Exactly. Now you know. Now you know. So you can't complain anymore. Moving on.
I've been replaced before, so I kind of know how it feels.
Were you replaced by Scott or Timothy?
No, I don't even know if they were in the industry back then. But yeah, I was in a short film, and I won't say which one because I don't want to hurt the people in it. But it was for it was like a student film, like a thesis film or something. And
yeah.
Well, so it's weird. So my character's in it, and there are parts that are voiced and then parts that are you see me. But apparently the teacher didn't like that the character was portrayed by an Asian.
That's
so they removed all the voiced parts from me, even though I didn't have I speak with a North American accent. I don't know why they had to get a white person to redo all the VO, and then cut out all the scenes with me except the one where you see me from behind. They changed it. Yeah, it was pretty. It was mean. It was so mean. I was just like, "Are you serious?" And the director. Well, those types of films you don't get paid for, but I mean, I did the work. Right? I remember the director had to write me this long ass apology letters. I really didn't want this to happen. It's not my vision. It's the school's vision, and that conflicted with my vision, and blah blah blah. I'm like, no, I get it. I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
So rude. And this is why your short film is so. This is why your short film is so popular, because there's so many people that can relate to what you're talking about.
I will say there was another time I got cast as the leader of a vampire council. I won't say for what, and a couple of days before shoot, it's me with a white person, because they said it makes no sense that an Asian leads the vampire council. Plus, there's also a second Asian vampire in the council itself who's in a lesser position. They don't speak, so that makes more sense.
There can only be one token Asian person, is what they're saying.
One token, and not
so
the leader.
Bizarre.
Not the leader, the one who says all the stuff. Right.
Yeah.
That pissed me off.
They say representation matters. This is why. Ugh. And
so I know how it feels.
Yeah, I guess it is, yeah.
I very much know how it
rude.
feels, and it pains me. Yes. So what Scott is discussing, but I will say, as an example of a good recast, Rhodey, War Machine in the Marvel movies, the first time we see him, it's Terrence Howard, and then they replaced him with Don Cheadle. Yes. In my mind, Don Cheadle did a better job.
I actually probably would agree. I thought Don Cheadle did a great. Yeah, I mean, he's War Machine. It's just the part that bugs me still is just the person who is just watching the movie and the continuity.
Yeah.
And when it's like a different person walks in, it's like there's that moment of you just kind of broke it a little bit. You broke the suspension of disbelief.
The switch for
exactly.
Viv? Yeah.
Viv, yeah.
Oh my God! I was like, I remember first time the new Ant comes out. I was like, wait, what?
Who are you?
Never the same.
Yeah.
Never the same. I'm not criticizing her. It's not the same.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Zai Zai Dab, welcome. Hi, Scott Dion boy, welcome to the show, Zai Zai. This is our Christmas special with the co-hosts of Talking with Our Mouths Full.
Yeah.
Night,
have you ever been replaced?
Night.
Have been to what?
Have you ever been replaced?
Yeah, but at the same time, the reasons that I've been replaced, it's just it's very justified, and it's if you're gonna take something away, you have to put something in it that enhances it, if that makes sense.
Oh,
you can't just replace a theme song for like a business purpose. Like if you're gonna put something in there, you should actually put something really good instead of just
Agreed.
filler.
Well, like, do you guys remember when they changed the Hockey Night in Canada theme song?
Oh dear Lord, yes.
Yes, and so the Hockey Night in Canada theme song, it was the main. People called it the second Canadian national anthem, right? It was like anywhere in the world you could go da 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 da, and like any Canadian would know the next part, you know.
Yeah, they would.
And it's been around, I think,
sing it
since
right
the
back, man.
Yes, since like the 60s or something, I think is when it first came in. And then I believe what happened there was it was similar to what happened with when the writer's strike in Hollywood happened. It was like all these new digital mediums were opening up so that there was additional revenue sources where where the companies could make money. And the creators of the work wanted to, be entitled to that money as well, rightfully so. And so that was the cause of the writer's strike. But I believe it was the same type of thing that happened with the Hockey Night in Canada theme song. And the CBC sort of just said, well, no, we're not going to pay you any more money. And I remember specifically reading something where one of the people at CBC were like, no, we're just going to change the song because in the long run, no people are going to keep watching Hockey Night in Canada, right? And it bugged me at the time because they're right? It's the same thing like renaming the Sky Dome, right? They know that the corporations and like the companies and everything, they live longer than individual people. So it's like, even if you rename the Sky Dome 40, 50 years from now, the people who were there, who remember it, they're either going to just, not be around anymore. And they can but even though they've made the change, something was lost, right? Something, and so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. Like, I guess the theme song on a TV show is not as big a deal, but I think to the people
for Canadians, it is.
It is.
But yeah, there's a
I agree.
Like for our American and non-Canadian listeners, like if you don't know, just think of like if someone went "Sweet Caroline" and then all of you are going to be like da da da. So like over here in Canada, if one person goes da 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 da, right, da 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 da, like we know the entire thing. Like I was in an exam at U of T way back when, and we were taking the exam in the hockey rink. Wow, so Canadian. We were in the hockey rink, in the middle of the hockey rink, and one person just started the theme.
Da, 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 da.
Right, exactly.
Da, da, da,
and then the second person went da 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 da. And next thing you know, entire class, every single person stopped the exam and sang the rest of the song. That is what it means to us Canadians. Yes, that is what this song means to us Canadians. Yep.
And it annoyed me because it felt so like when I heard what that person at CBC said, it was like, it felt like you're not doing your job, because the CBC, the whole purpose it exists is to like, sort of protect and encourage Canadian culture. Yep. And they made just such a weird, like straight up just ruthless business decision. It bugs me to this day. But the whole point of it is it's like they changed the song. The new song is less memorable, but it's still catchy. And in a few years, well, people don't talk about it anymore. And in a few more years, it'll just, nobody will even remember.
Will there even be a theme song?
Oh boy.
I think that like if we're going to be replacing things, you have to pay homage, or just still find a place to be like, here's a memorabilia plaque or something to be like, hey, this is what it used to be. Just so that we pay homage to like all the people who remembered it before. Like, for example, the Sky Dome. A lot of people don't know that it was called the Sky Dome at one point. And it's like, we should be letting people know somewhere. We can't just completely erase history.
Yeah, because it's what I still call it the Sky Dome, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. Yep. Yeah, I mean, anybody who was around at the right time, it'll always be that to them, right? And so they just sort of are playing the waiting game, really. And in terms of the Hockey Night in Canada theme song, what happened was TSN bought the rights to it.
Yeah.
And now TSN plays it at the beginning of their hockey broadcasts. So it's not gone, but anyway, as far as I'm concerned, it never should have happened. It never should have happened.
Thank you, Scott.
Because something was lost. Same with the House theme song. Same with Dawson's Creek. Okay. And the reason I even brought it up is
feelings today.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, you know what it probably is. In fact, this is a good segue.
You're welcome.
Kind of. Last night I watched. Have you guys watched Inside Out?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The Pixar movie.
Oh yeah.
I watched it last night, and the tears were just flowing out of my eyes.
Yeah.
Although the thing I realized about it though is it's not really a kids movie. I mean, it's a kids movie, but I don't think a kid
The meaning
would ever
behind
really
it?
understand it. Yeah, you need to have some time behind you to really understand what the movie is.
I was
I mean,
telling.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, go.
I was gonna say. I remember the first time I watched it. I told my wife, "This is one of those films that will appeal to basically any age group. And if you watched it when you were young, you can grow with it, because each time you watch it as you grow up, will have a different meaning to you. And it's very rare in a work of art to be able to pull off."
Yeah, I agree. I almost feel like the older you are, the more it would appeal to you or affect
And that is why you cried yesterday, Scott.
The older I am. Yeah, but I actually could say it might be one of the best
Pixar
things I've ever seen.
It is.
I don't know. It hit me so hard because it
Which
like,
emotion
remember when
hit you the hardest?
well, obviously sadness, but it was just the idea that sadness, the idea that like your best memories, when you think back to them, there's always going to be now like an element of sadness, because there is that feeling of how impermanent everything is. And so even your best memories, they're always going to bring a little bit of just, I don't know, melancholy with it. But it's also what makes life so beautiful. I don't know, there's just so much. You know what it is? It reminds me of like when I was on your show, how I talked about how my favorite Christmas movie is It's a Wonderful Life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I've just kind of noticed. Oh, Merry Early Christmas, Jaden Stubbs. Hi, welcome to the show. I've just noticed how, especially around the holidays, I do find, and again, I guess it's just the more time I spend on this earth, I
just
find.
Had birthday.
Don't remind me. But it's just the more time that happens is when the holidays come around. There's an element of I don't know. I mean, to get a little sad, but it's like you start to notice things like, you know, when you're sitting around with your family, you start to notice how, you know, suddenly people aren't there anymore who used to be, you know, you know, grandparents and so on and so forth. People move on, and and you start to just, you're happy at the holidays, but you're also, you take a moment to sort of take stock of how things change and how it's important to sort of cherish the time you have and the memories you have, because
You got this from a Pixar movie.
yeah, but It's a Wonderful Life is the same type of theme. It's why it's not, I mean, it is a joyous movie kind of at the end, but it's really about realizing that even though a lot of things don't go, you know, life doesn't go the way you always plan, or in fact never does, but you still sort of, I don't know, you find people who love you and friends, and there's just something about that feeling that I find, I don't know, it appeals to me in such a strong way. I think why Inside Out, I don't know, I mean, I'd almost be curious, like, when a kid watches it, they're not going to really see any of that, right? I mean, for them, it's just a cartoon with,
Depends on how old they are.
Well, that's what I'm saying, exactly, yeah.
Like, I did watch it with my younger brother, and he just liked the characters. He found it funny when anger got angry. He found it funny when sadness would just mop on the floor.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It hits you at different points of your life.
Yeah, and I'm a relatively new parent now, and this movie is now hitting me different ever since I had my daughter. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like it's just there's. Well, what I love is it's. I remember when it was first coming out. I didn't see it. Like I said, I saw it for the first time yesterday. But I remember when I read an article, an interview with the creators, and I remember they mentioned on that they spent years and years researching it, specifically about like how the mind works and like memories. And that's why I think the whole movie is basically a giant, I guess, I don't know if metaphors, it's a giant metaphor, right? The whole movie. And so that's why they have things like the train of thought, and like it's witty in that way, but it's also so accurate, you know, like even how you'll find yourself humming that random commercial from 20 years ago, and like they just sort of, because of the way they've set everything up, but it's so accurate. And it's just funny when I started crying. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm just like, why am I crying for this pink elephant? Like, why am I crying for this weird pink elephant, right? And so I started crying, and then I started laughing because I was crying for that. But it's also just this thing of like, you know, there's these parts of your childhood that, you know, they do go away. Like you don't. There's so many things you probably don't even remember, or like maybe you'll see a picture from when you were like 5 years old, and suddenly it'll just trigger this. Oh yeah, I used to love that, and you haven't thought of that in, you know, X amount of years. So I don't know. It was just so well done. I don't know. I loved it.
It definitely
was, like,
brought
good.
back.
Oh.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, I just said it was a good choice to pair both joy and sadness together as like the leads, because like in a way all of us as human beings, we are both trying to navigate these emotions as well. So, and you can see that they're going on this journey to try to navigate things together, and then they realize that they need each other. And it's kind of like yin and yang, where you do need a balance of both, right? Because you can't always live joyous, and that's what joy was for. Joy was like, we should always live like this, and it's like, no, you do need that small element of sadness too to stay grounded. And they're both navigating, just like how as we grow, we're still trying to navigate our emotions and everything. And that's how like the human on the outside is just trying to learn through all of these emotions.
Yeah, it was you know what was cool about it is that like the movie structures itself that it's like the reason that Riley is having these rough times or whatever is because, oh, like these funny characters in her mind, like they dropped the balls and it shut down the thing. But I think what was really happening was they were dropping those things because the child was maturing and becoming, you know, more of an adult. And so it was almost like those things that were happening were being triggered by her maturity. It was so deep.
Yeah, her emotions
deep
are
as like
growing with her.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
think Disney, and especially Pixar, I mean, this is one of their deepest movies, but I think Disney and Pixar are at their absolute best when they make what seems like is a kids movie, but in fact, they don't treat it as a kids movie. I think that's Up is my favorite Pixar movie, but they need to have that balance where anyone can watch it, and I feel like Inside Out is the best example of that, because it just hits so hard. So
I almost in fact I would say, like, I think it's one of the strongest emotional reactions I've ever had watching a movie, which is so weird.
Did you cry watching
I would almost
Coco?
recommend it to everyone. I cried a lot in Coco too. That one hit me well, but this one was different. This one was deeper because it felt like it was just touching on, just parts of just being a person. I gotta say, if you're listening to this or watching this, I mean, if you're a kid, you've probably seen it and it's funny. But if you're an adult and you haven't seen Inside Out, watch it. Just watch it. And I don't know. I just feel like it's so good. It makes me feel happy and sad, but then sad that you're happy and happy that you're sad. And it's just,
I think what's really awesome about Pixar is that the artwork they were using in Inside Out, it's so abstract that and it's so like open and accessible to anyone that anyone can like interpret it. So everyone can take different things from it in different points in life. And that's why it's so successful, because they've made it so open and abstract for anybody to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They got it right. They do a good job. And I know
It's funny,
I think we've talked about them before.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Regine.
When the movie first came out, I actually dyed my hair blue, and so my friends, when they'd see me, they're like, "You remind me of Joy," and I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
Well, have any of you seen the movie Onward?
Yes.
So that's a very underrated movie.
It is.
It's also but it's on top, like it's near the top for me. It's really a very meaningful.
Is it Pixar as well, or?
Yeah, it is. A lot of people didn't watch it.
It came out at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was released on Disney Plus.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never even heard of it.
Onward.
watch
I
it.
think, especially as a nerd, you're gonna really appreciate it because it has a hard, very heavy dungeon that
I'm kidding.
a D&D element to it, but that you will understand. Like if you like Lord of the Rings, if you like D&D and all that, there's some extra understanding to it, but you really don't need to know those things. Like it's such an underrated movie and so many people haven't seen it, but it hits I would say in the same weight class as Up and Inside Out. It's in the same vein. So yeah, watch it.
Awesome. I will check it out because
I do want to apologize to you guys if you hear me typing. Like, I just have a bunch of orders coming, like people picking up orders, and I'm like, oh my god, they're early. Sorry, but
I'm on a show.
you're
I'm sorry. I tell them you can't pick up until after 1 o'clock. But
I'm just saying you should say to
you're
them, I'm on a show. I'm important.
it's funny because
Yeah.
some of these people want to be
Sit
on the
down.
show. So I'm like, if you don't know what's happening, you sure you want to be on the show? Just saying.
Yeah, people, sit down. Sit.
I have to sit
Down.
down for a few hours, guys.
Yeah.
This is actually the only
you're
time today that I will be sitting, just so you know.
You're gonna be slaving over a
Hot chocolate.
Is it a stove? A hot chocolate
Yeah.
stove? What do you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
on the
Regine's
stove.
making all the bombs. All the bombs. They are the bomb. Hello, Aqua Goated. This is cool. It is cool, Aqua. It is very cool indeed. Welcome to the show. Dobelix. Hi, Scoot. Hello, Dobelix. Welcome. Welcome to the show. It's our Christmas special of the Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, and we're here with the two co-hosts of Talking with Our Mouths Full.
Oh,
we've
wait,
been
going
almost-
back to
we
the
are-
movie. Sorry, going back
Yeah.
to the movie. When you guys watched it, and Scott, you just watched it, so I don't know if this has happened to you, but have you ever gone, like, because I know for myself, I think a lot. And so I was always curious, like, I wonder which animated character is running my mind at that moment. Like, when I roast you, Scott, is it anger? Is it actually joy? Who is it? Is it disgust?
Me, it's just
Like,
anger. Anger all the time. Anger all the time. Anger and disgust.
the
Yeah,
flames.
that's it. Yeah. Well, no, I think it's like how they did the hockey. Remember at the end that she's playing hockey?
Yeah.
But it's like they all work together all at the same time,
Mhm.
right? So, you know, I like it. It was just so good. It was so good. Before I think we're going to wrap up soon because this has been pretty nice, and I like that we're getting to an emotional moment. But I feel like we should probably talk a little bit about Christmas because it's our
Yes.
Christmas special. I know we touched about it. We touched on it a little bit when I was on your show. So guys, you have to go listen to Talking with Our Mouths Full after this, their Christmas special, so you can get the full crossover experience.
Yes.
And then Regine will be a guest on their show as well, so make sure you watch that together. It's a trilogy, if you will, a trilogy of podcast crossovers. But what are you guys' plans for Noel?
Lots of eating.
Oh, That's good. But what do you
On my
what would
side,
you be eating? Yeah.
What are you eating?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so for me, like, we're cooking a lot of food, and you know how, like, when you have, like, the Christmas dinners, like, you have, like, that one aunt who's going to bring, like, that one thing you're, like, looking forward to it every year. So what we're doing is, like, all of us are cooking something, and we all told each other what we're cooking, and then we're going to prepare into little boxes, and we're just going to drop it off so we all have, like, Christmas
Aw.
dinner together in a way.
Aw.
That's awesome. Can they drop some stuff off here?
Yeah, just add an
Maybe.
extra address onto the list.
Right.
You're like, yes, drop it. I'm gonna be here. I need an extra. Yeah,
Yep, dropping off
Cool.
gifts too, so there's that.
that sounds awesome. Michael?
So now normally pre-COVID, what would happen is we would celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve with my side of the family, and then Christmas Day with my in-law side of the family. But this year is a little different, so because everything has gone online. So Christmas Eve is still with my side of the family, but there's going to be a lot of ordering of Chinese food to be delivered to each other. And then Christmas Day, we're doing a Zoom Secret
I think we lost.
Santa.
Hang on, I think I can't hear you because did we lose Regine? Hang on 1 second. Let me bring you back. I think we lost Regine, but say something, Michael.
Hello.
All right, hang on. Say it one more time.
Hi. Am I here?
Okay, good.
I
hear you now, yes.
Awesome. Where did I leave off?
Ordering a lot of Christmas takeout.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
so on Christmas Eve, basically, it's just a lot of ordering of Chinese food to be delivered to the different households, and then we'll eat and talk on the phone. Christmas Day, we're doing multiple Zoom calls with my in-law side of the family. We're doing a Secret Santa and also stockings opening. So I, on the 23rd, will actually be driving to all the different households to pick up and drop off stuff at the doorstep for everybody, so that we can all do that. Which now I just realized I'll find out who everybody's Secret Santa is just because I'm the one driving around. But anyways,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have to. Yeah, you're gonna be the Santa. So yeah, you're gonna have to.
technically, yes. Although usually it's my niece, like the actual person who, because normally everyone comes over to my house and we have a Christmas tree and all the gifts are under, and then my niece puts on a Santa hat and doles it all out. But yeah, this time it's a little different. But that's how everything's going.
Yeah, that's it's the reality we're in. Yeah, mine is gonna be same idea. I mean, we usually have big family dinners, but I think we're all just moving on to. It's going to be all online, so I think we're going to organize that. I'll get in touch with some of my cousins, and what I'd like to be able to do, because we've had Zoom meetings before, but we've never really tried doing like a thing where we actually are on the Zoom call as we're eating, which I kind of think we should try to do. I mean, I know it takes a bit more organization, but I wonder if we pick a time, everybody, whatever you're going to eat, sit down, and we should all eat it. That would I think would be a great way to do it. And then I'm going to do some outdoor gift exchanges as well, like go up to my parents' place and we'll stand outside and exchange gifts. But just it's the reality we're in. It's different. And yeah, it looks like Regine's phone died. She's in the chat. So Regine's phone died. But she has to, she's got some bombs to make. But I think we should.
She is the bomb.
She is the bomb. Oh, she's trying to get back. Okay. Well, I mean, we probably can wrap up anyway. If she joins the call again, she can come and join us again. But guys, before we say goodbye. Oh wait,
I'm back.
she's gonna come back.
I'm back.
Hello.
I'm back.
Hello.
I'm just sitting at a different spot.
there
Yay!
you
Nice
are.
to have you back.
Wait,
And
let
Scott
me
has
let
a
me
filter.
mute my computer.
Nice.
Okay, I did it.
Hi.
I made it work.
Okay, good.
Oh my god, that
You
was the
made
most
it.
stressful thing of life.
It's a
I was like, let's
Christmas
die.
miracle, Regine.
Wow, I love the bokeh.
Huh?
Your background is, at least on my end, it's blurred, whereas you're
Yeah.
clear, so it has a nice effect.
I mean, you don't want to see the background anymore. I literally
more
was like,
roaring
oh
fire.
no, I hope this didn't mess up the call. I tried to use my laptop to log on, but of course I have an older version of Skype on my laptop, and it's like, you need to upgrade. I'm like, no. But I did hear what you guys were talking about, so that's what matters.
Yay!
I'm
Yeah, I
back.
saw you jumped in the chat, so it all worked out. But yeah, I think I guess we should probably let's wrap up. I feel like we touched a lot of bases, and I kind of want to go watch It's a Wonderful Life. I think I might do.
You
that
should watch
soon.
Onward.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to do that as well. I think it is maybe just around the holidays. Again, I get more pensive, and so it makes me want to think about those things and reminisce, and drink a hot beverage and stuff. But
Like
before
a
we
hot
say goodbye,
cocoa?
maybe a hot Coke
Or a hot chocolate bomb.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, I'm going to do that.
Do you even have
I
any
still have
left?
2 left. I have 2.
Okay.
One is the mocha, but that's my girlfriend will probably be drinking that, and then I'll have the classic, the original. That's the other one I have left. So it'll work
That's
out.
perfect for
Um,
Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Michael and Knight, where can people find you guys? Both either the podcast and individually, if you'd like, whatever you'd like to let us know. Where can people connect with you on this festive occasion?
Michael.
You want me to start? Okay. So the podcast is on all major podcast apps, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. We also have a website, talkingwithourmouthsful.podbean.com. You can also connect with us on Instagram and Twitter at TWOMF Podcast. We're also on Facebook. Just look up Talking With Our Mouths Full. And I myself am on Instagram and Twitter as at Michael C.W. Chan, and I also have a website, michaelchan.ca.
You can find me on Instagram at night.nguyen or just going through the quarantine capsule again.
Excellent. And I put the link to both of your guys' social media down below, as well as the link to Myzeum website. So find them down below, everybody. Yeah. And Regine, where can people find you?
You can find me sitting on the floor. I'm literally sitting down. No, you guys can find me here on YouTube as well. I know I've neglected it a little bit, but it's because Michael and Scott have kept me busy with their orders. That's okay. I will be trying to put out more content in the new year, so follow or subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at It's Regine Alaina. And if you'd like to follow my pageant journey, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Ms. MS Galaxy Canada. Where can they find you?
You can find me right here, ladies and gentlemen, where you're watching this very show. YouTube.com/Scott Dion Brown. I'm also on twitch.tv/Scott Dion Brown and dlive.tv/Scott Dion Brown. YouTube is the main one, though. It's also where I post other video types, not so much in the last little bit, but I also live stream, as many of you guys know, Monday through Friday. Different video games, Brawlhalla. I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077 lately, some Genshin Impact, bit of the Pokemon Sword. Am I right, people? Anyway, youtube.com/Scott Dion Brown. You can also find me here on Instagram and Twitter at Scott Dion Brown. I post on there from time to time, although to be honest, those are really just satellites for YouTube. YouTube is the best place. It's where I have the most fun. And yeah, that's where.
And
Michael
make sure you guys
and,
listen
oh, yeah.
to make sure you guys listen to their podcast, Talking With Their Mouths Full Christmas special, because again, Scott is on there being interviewed. Go ahead, Scott.
I was kind of just gonna say, just like some kind of outro, I was just gonna say, guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. And ladies and gentlemen, all of you who tuned in, you guys could have spent your Sunday morning anywhere on this world wide web. You could have gone to any website, but you chose to go to youtube.com/Scott Dion Brown and watch this show with us. And for that, we are eternally grateful. And I wish you all, wish you all a wonderful holiday season. And have a safe time. Don't contribute to the spread. And be good to each other, everybody. Be good to each other. And any final thoughts, people? Anybody final things you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
It's our Christmas special.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes. And a happy
New Year.
Next week is our New Year's special. Not yet.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Not a happy New Year then. Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. And bye.
Bye. Stay hungry.
Oh, yeah. Stay hungry.